So when I was going into my surgery, so I had this incident in my mind. So I
Right.
firstly told the doctor that, look, my blood group is O negative. Every operation they went, I used to first have a chat with them, officers, men, everyone together. And I used to look into their eyes. I used to see what exactly are they feeling about it. Because
You are running hardcore. Son is also running in hardcore marathons. He did and now
wife is
the
also
wife is
joined.
also joined. So it's a completely running family.
Army is a disciplined organization. It follows the orders. And I always say that you need to follow your own passion and you
Absolutely.
need to find your own path. 3 seconds are there. Within those 3 seconds, either you have to hit him or he hits you.
Welcome, folks, to the Commander's Campus. I'm Commander Girish Konkar, an ex-submariner turned leadership catalyst. I'm here to help you navigate the storms of leadership and build a legacy that lasts. Let's dive in to the depths of leadership. Colonel, you have one principle of what is called as getting 1% better every time. And how does one train oneself so that in your operations, in your missions, the mind has to be absolutely focused, continuously learning, and this that you must learn continuously. What does one? The question is, how do you one make it different and learn everything? This 1% principle. Can you tell us about that?
So, Girish, what happens is that like we are not, when we join the Special Forces unit, we are not perfect. We have a lot of, I would say, imperfections within us. And you can take anything for that matter, whether it is fitness, whether it is firing, whether it is, doing the task operationally, how you need to, or your strategic thinking. So I also learned it harder way when I realized that, my boys are better than me in some aspects, whether it is physical fitness in some aspects or in firing. So you learn from each other.
True.
And the kind of environment which is there in the special forces now, it is like a family. Not even, I would say, it's like a tribe. I remember when we were in Sri Lanka and I was a troop commander, and one guy was going on pension, and he had spent a reasonable amount of time, almost about a year or so, and he was a havaldar who was going, and he literally kind of not hugged me but touched my feet.
Right.
And I asked him why. He says, you led us in operations and you led us successfully and without losing anyone or we having minimal casualty,
Right.
because casualty is so hongi.
Correct.
And you were always leading from the front and you were always guiding, advising. Because, in Sri Lanka was a very different kind of an operation. We are going out of the country and we are fighting somebody else's battle.
Correct.
So a lot of questions were coming in the minds of people that,
Hum
what
yahan
are we
kya
doing
kar-
here?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? That question comes. So at those moments, you had to convince, motivate them and tell them, look, what we are doing is, we are in a part of an army.
Correct.
And army is a disciplined organization. It follows the orders. Within whatever your, I would say, in area of influence, you do whatever we can.
Correct.
We cannot think of beyond that. What our prime minister is doing, or whatever army chief is doing, or whatever our corps commander or army commanders are doing. So you need to restrict your thinking to that particular area rather than thinking about others, because that's very important for us to understand.
True.
Even for a younger generation, I can say that we always try to find faults in others, whereas when it comes to our own doing, we are found lacking and wanting.
True.
So we need to focus on that. So my entire focus to our troopee was that you need to get better in what you are supposed to do. Either you have to start working towards it, thinking about it, actually doing it. If you worry about others, what their task is, then your focus will go away. And when you go for operations, your alertness will not be there. Absolutely. If you are worried about somebody else. So that is where, we used to tell them that, look, 3 seconds are there. Within those 3 seconds, either you have to hit him or he hits you. Right. So if in those 3 seconds, if you have a slightest amount of doubt in your mind, you will not be able to get that hit and you probably will become a casualty.
True.
So that is the focus which we require, that laser sharp focus on your commitment, operational efficiency. Until you have that, you will not be able to succeed in your mission. So to improve that, what you need to do. So that is what we used to do. Whether it is your shoes which needs to be properly tied, how you need to, what food you need to carry. Like we used to earlier carry achar. Achar gives a lot of smell.
Right.
Now even to remove achar from your
Clothing
food
also, yeah.
from your food, it
Yeah,
takes time, right?
time, yeah.
People will feel, yaar, main bilkul rukhi sukhi roti ya whatever that khasta puri kha raha hu, but yes, you have to eat that. Sometimes you are taking, in the bottle, we used to put some chana and some dal and just sprouts. There's no smell in that, no?
So I've heard stories about when you're in the jungles,
Hmm.
absolute silence is there something, and even these smells of achar and maybe the masala type things that travels a lot, and you can,
Absolutely.
uh, I mean, you get wind of the militant, or the militant gets wind of you because you are carrying an achar with you. How
Yeah,
true is that?
absolutely. Because you see, if you have like earlier days, or rather Indian Army when we were in Sri Lanka, people used to use dalda, ghee.
Hmm.
And from that ghee also the smell used to come.
Right.
And if you have eaten there and you have stopped there for a short while, that smell will continue to stay there.
Okay.
So the LTT was able to smell you.
Okay.
Similarly, when we realized that they are able to smell us, we started smelling them.
Okay.
So we never used to use soap for
Right.
48 hours before going for operation. No oil to be used.
Okay.
No oil, body oil to be used.
No
No
body oil,
fragrance.
no smoke. I mean, no soap.
No soap. No fragrance. Anything which
Okay.
will give away fragrance.
Okay.
Right. And the food which you eat is also important. It should be blanded kind of a food. It doesn't
Yes.
have too much of spices and things like
Even
that.
your
Because
perspiration will give you smell.
perspiration will give you, your other this thing will also give you. And people used to generally keep light.
Hmm.
Whatever you are eating, it has to be light so that you're not giving away too much of bloating and gas and things like that. So all these things we learned, because when you're sitting in an ambush, at that particular time the guy is going just not more than 5 feet away from you,
Okay. And you are hidden in the bush.
and you are hiding in the bush.
Ah.
Even if you do a small little, whether it is noise or you smell or anything, you have given away your supply.
Or you perspire.
Or you perspire. So, in fact, we have in Kashmir, we used to hide in the snow.
Right.
We used to cover ourselves with the snow and we used to hide over there, and he will pass and he will not know we are there. But once this guy has seen them going, then he'll inform the other guy.
Yeah.
So that he doesn't open the fire, the other guy opens the fire.
Okay.
So many such things which we learned in operations, which come, and it is all a principle of 1%, because you cannot be perfect from day one.
True.
You have to improve and keep improving. I don't know whether you've read this Atomic Habits, in which they're talking about a British cycling team.
Okay.
There's a man called Sir David Brailsford, and in fact, from 2000 till 2008, the British cycling team won the maximum number of medals.
Okay.
In the Olympics as well as in other cycling events, whereas 100 years before that, they had not won a single, or rather won only 1 or 2 medals. And it is all by the principle of that 1% improvement in every aspect. It's not just cycling.
Right.
It is the aspect that he used to ensure that people who are going for an event, they carry their own pillow.
Okay.
Because that is what will give them the comfort so that they can be rested. Even the mattress they used to carry, even the cycle wheels, they used to ensure that it is properly cleaned and some bit of, it is shining to the extent that it has minimal of friction. Now, just imagine if a coach is driving this and telling each of his player that you need to do this. So automatically there is a lot of ownership which comes. Each member will be thinking, okay, what should I be eating so that I do not have a
Correct.
A bad stomach while you are doing an event. Half of the time our events, because if you have not eaten well, you will not be able to perform the next day. So
Absolutely.
the discipline comes in. So I think that principle is very much applicable in every aspect, whether it is sports, whether it is in operations, and whether it is in corporate world also. Whatever you are doing, start improving, whether it is like writing a code. Now every person who is writing a code, he knows that I can write 100 lines of code in, let's say, 15 days. But how many of those 100 lines will not have a bug?
Right.
Similar kind of things. You have to identify in every aspect of your life that whatever you are doing, you should have scope for improvement, and you should be able to identify that.
Absolutely.
Because if you are not able to identify that weakness, then you will not be able to improve.
True.
And you don't have to repeat the same mistake again. Because if you do the same mistake again, at least in operation, you could lose your life.
Yeah, very true. In combat, you are extremely alert so that you have to stay alive. How does that now translate to your latest passion? Not latest, but a passion of a long time of running. And you've done, I would say, things like, weird things. Weird is the inverted commas things. Things like the 250 kilometers Gobi Marathon, where you have to, in the desert, you run alone. one is running in a group of 100 runners and you got people with you. Now here you're running alone for 250 kilometers. You've done things like recently you just completed the Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, I think 220 kilometers in 40 hours. You've done the 1,000 kilometers run as a tribute to the Galwan heroes and to the armed forces. So what does it take from the battlefield to a running focus?
So see, they're quite different actually. If you really ask me, being in the special forces and doing special operations, they are very high risk mission, and you have to, as you said, that you have to remain very alert, and the enemy is outside.
Hmm.
Your enemy is your militants or your dushman or whoever can see you. So you have to remain alert. You have to maintain your surprise, and you have to be physically fit to be able to achieve those tasks. But here in endurance running, it is internal. The enemy is inside.
Hmm.
I always say that mind is a very good servant, but a very bad master. So if you can control your mind and be resilient about it, because mind will always keep telling you to get up late,
Hmm.
have more rest, why are you doing it, what are you going to achieve by running 250 kilometers, all those kind of things.
Correct.
And is it really worth it? So initially, even I thought that whether it is really worth it or not. But what you learn from these things are something which is, I cannot explain it. See, after doing 250 kilometers, now running a full marathon, running 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers at any time, it's just like so
Correct.
easy for me, right? And I know what to eat. I know how I can remain healthy in terms of nutrition, in terms of how to take rest. And when you meet these people, in the endurance run, that I would say camaraderie, it is like special forces.
Correct.
Each one is so supportive and helpful. They'll tell you what they eat, why they eat what they eat. In fact, some of the people I met, there was a father and son a grandfather and grandson running.
Okay.
71-year-old and a youngster who was running over there in Gobi. And absolutely fine. There's no problem at all. So when you see these people doing such events and doing it so easily, so you feel that, yeah, why can't I do it? That is one aspect that you want to do it. And then when you learn so many things from these people, visit these places, and they are absolutely magnificent in terms of the nature.
True.
Like it's absolutely barren land, as you have said, and there is no pollution at all. And you really feel like you can run. Your
True.
body also wants to, actually explore that and see. Similarly, when I went to Kilimanjaro, now it's about 50 odd people who are running. Each one knows each one, and you're talking to each one of them. Even now you're talking that I am going to be signing up over there. Like if someone has a small problem, like I had a stomach issue, like they gave me medication and all that, but then they told me how you need to keep yourself healthy and nutrition, because nutrition is very important. If in case your nutrition is not there, you are running 40 kilometers and you have an elevation of 5,000 or over 1,000 odd meters, so the body will just collapse. So they help you. So it's a learning for me. I would say that special forces were more on external side, whereas here you are actually learning about your own human body. And this human body is it's like a gift from the God. Absolutely magnificent what it can do. We have not really explored it. If we try to explore various facets of this human body, I think we will not be able to find the end, because there's so much of it. I learned it in 250 kilometers. Now I've seen in 220 kilometers. Now I've been thinking that I should be signing up for something a little bit.
So, Colonel, people say follow your passion. How does one find your passion?
So, earlier I also used to find it very difficult how to find the passion, but I think we have to explore ourselves. It's not that we will find our passion while sitting at home or reading something. You have to actually do it, whether it is painting, whether it is writing a book, or maybe somebody wants to read, somebody wants to join any master class, or there are so many now. I would say dancing is another. People are so passionate about dancing. So now there is no limit to your passions, what you want to explore. It's only that you have to do it. You cannot just by saying that this looks good, it'll help me and all that. But the moment you start actually doing it, you realize that it is quite tiring. It will cause you a lot of fatigue, and then you will give up after some time. So any passion which you want to follow, you need to first identify that, and you have to bite smaller bites initially, and be consistent about it. Like for example, running. So you cannot start running ultra from day one. So you have
True.
to start small. You maybe like every day in the morning, you get up at a particular time and go out.
True.
Don't even run, just walk and feel how you feel about it. And once you start liking it, then you can slowly start walking. Then maybe you start running, maybe do 1 kilometer. But you have to be consistent about it, and it has to become a habit.
Yeah.
So once it becomes a habit, then it is very difficult for you to change it. So I say 21-day principle. If you like something and if you do it for 21 days and you are enjoying it, then it can be your passion, and then you can follow. And once you start following, for example, mind is always a kind of a bad master, so it will keep telling you why you're getting up and why you're doing it. But if you are passionate about it, you will be able to get up, you will be able to go out, you will be able to run, and you would also be able to challenge yourself. And that is very important, because if you do not challenge yourself, then you will not grow. So when you are running, let's say if you are doing 5 kilometers, then you will challenge yourself to run 10 kilometers.
True.
Then you will challenge yourself to run it in a specific time. Then automatically your other things will start falling in place, and you will become more focused.
True.
Your nutrition, your rest, your entire schedule of your work, you will realize that, okay, I have to do my running in the morning from 5 to 6, so I have to sleep early.
Yes.
So accordingly,
Absolutely.
your time on digital distractions will get reduced. So I think it is very important for us to explore and give it 21 days and to identify that passion, and then follow, and then keep challenging yourself. That is how you can pursue it.
So that brings me now to, I mean, you always come full circle. We've seen your story from NDA to the Special Forces to getting injured to becoming the commanding officer of the 21 para SFs. Then your post-retirement running journey. You're doing, I mean, there are many things we have left out actually because of paucity of time. But one thing I'd like to definitely touch upon is, as I say, behind every successful person or even any person, there is a lady who's supporting him, standing beside him, standing behind him. And I would like to know from you about your support that you received right from the first day, because what I understand is, I mean, you tell it in your own words about your wife, Anupam.
Yeah, firstly, Anupam has always been a kind of a, I would say, stabilizing factor in my life. And like women are always very, I would say, they always will caution you when you are trying to take risks in life. But at the same time, she had never kind of stopped me from taking these challenges, and she has been very supportive. In fact, she is sister of another special forces officer, and there's a very interesting incident how I met her. In fact, the other officer is Ashish Sonal, and we were together in Sri Lanka, and he had got shot. In fact, he got shot after I had got injured
Okay.
myself. So he had got a bullet in his head, and I was doing adjutant at that particular time, and we were kind of all of us were very worried that what will happen, and his head had swollen up quite a bit when so the doctors in Sri Lanka, Palali, they said that 50% chances are there that we will not be able to save him if we
Okay.
operate him here. So we said we cannot take a chance. So we obviously wanted him to be evacuated to India.
Correct.
So we asked for a Heptar support, and Heptar came, and they took him. Halfway through, the Heptar had to come back because of the bad weather. Then we had to ask for AN-32. In fact, everybody, GOC, Army Command, everybody was supportive that we have to save his life. And when he was going inside the aircraft, and also I was talking to him, how are you and all that. He says, no, I don't have nothing is wrong with me. Nothing is wrong. He was in a incoherent state, but he was speaking that way. But we knew things are not very good. He lands in Chennai, and the neurosurgeon sees him, takes him for the surgery. Before that, they do the CT scan, and they found that the bullet has not touched his brain.
Okay.
And the bullet has gone through and through. It was a steel coated bullet.
Okay.
And though there is a lot of trauma because of that
Yes.
impact, but the brain is fine. So they keep him under observation for 15 days, and after that he's sent back home. And I am also there in Delhi on some small short leave, and I also go and meet him. And I meet his sister also at that particular time, and that is how I kind of met my would-be spouse and Anupam. So Anupam was a professional. She was in the Reserve Bank of India, and obviously it's a very challenging job. In fact, as the economy was growing in 90s and all that. So, but she was always supportive of whatever I was doing. Obviously, she was not fully aware of what I used to be doing in special
Okay.
forces.
So
Though,
you
of
kept
course,
that
she
lot of things hidden from her, is it? Now she'll
lot,
come to know.
lot of things she was not aware of, and in fact, all these operations like Sri Lanka happened before us,
Right.
before we got married, and then thereafter, whatever she has now heard from the YouTube and from the podcast that she has learnt about me about these special forces operations, because it's no point in telling everything.
Absolutely.
Because you see, when you are actually in an operation, you don't worry. There is no fear.
True.
There is a bit of a caution, but you are not afraid. But when a other person, third person sees or listens to you or hears you what you have done, they become unnecessarily worried and things like that. So
Absolutely.
that's why we used to keep a lot of things. I even now I read those letters in which I used to not tell much about it, that we are in operations
True.
and we'll be out for 5 days, 6 days. Probably we'll come back and then I'll get back to you or talk to you. But that is how we used to have the communication. But now, having now started doing this ultra running and all that, so now she has understood that, see, risk taking is there in us, like from the special forces days onwards, that we always are ready to take risks, we always take initiative.
True.
So now in this endurance running also, we try to, I would say, channelize our mind internally to be able to achieve something beyond what is normally possible. So that's how we take challenges.
And she's also a runner.
She is also a runner, and she has become a runner recently. In fact, after having seen me and my son running, now she's also kind of got gravitated towards running. Earlier, she used to do the walking,
Right.
but now she has done 5K,
And
10K.
she's done even 21K, I think.
She has done 10K, and probably in her age category, she has won also.
Yes.
Yeah. So she's
So
an excellent.
you are running hardcore. Son is also running in hardcore marathons. He did it, and now
Wife
the
has also
wife is
joined.
also joined. So it's a completely running family.
Yeah.
But I think
So, but I don't force anybody, and I always say that you need to follow your own passion, and you
absolutely,
need to find your own path.
absolutely.
Whatever you love to do, like to do, because my wife is a very good painter also.
Wow.
So she paints,
Okay.
and she paints like it's like a marathon only. You know, so many paintings she has been painting. But what I'm saying is that you have to follow your passion, and that's how you.
And I
have
think
to
we need
find
to
it.
bring her also onto our next podcast, because
Yeah, sure.
to hear from her
Yeah.
when you are out there in the jungles of Manipur, or maybe in the forest of Doda, or I don't know which part of Kashmir you would have been,
Yeah.
and Rajasthan, for her to hold the fort back at home is
No, absolutely. I would say that she is the one who actually brought up my son single-handedly. Because in our married life from 91 till I left the army, I think we were together for not more than 3 years, 3.5 years. So
Okay.
entire 13 years, during which obviously my son was born, then,
Yes.
grew up and became, he is a successful, now he's working in London, working for JP Morgan and all that. So all that credit goes to her for having, brought him up and to make him what he is.
Great.
So I thank her for that.
So we'd love to have her on the podcast next.
Sure, I'll tell her that.
Also did a 1,000-kilometer
Yeah.
tribute run for the Galwan and for the what was the background behind that, and how did that run go?
So actually, I was wanting to explore, see the border area and all that, whatever areas which I have not actually visited. So I thought of doing it on the western borders. Though, of course, I have been in Rajasthan with my unit in 10 para. But then I said, okay, let's see the western border. And initially I was planning to run alone.
Right.
But then I found some like-minded crazy people like me. They said, okay, we will also join you. And they also joined, and it was good
I
fun.
remember you had asked me also. I said, I'm not that crazy as you.
So, in fact, there were about 15, 20 of us who were there, but they were not all of them running all the legs. So what I did was that firstly I decided that I want to run myself.
Right.
Then I sent this thing for others if in case somebody wants to join in. Not many people were keen. And then I broke it down to 5 different legs. Instead of 1,000 kilometers being done in
one go.
So I said that we will do about 250, and in between we'll take 1 or 2 days break.
Right.
And that was a time which was for recovery as well as from moving from one place to the other, because it required logistical planning also, because there are different commands and different formations which are involved. So to coordinate with them and all that, and to know, because every formation wanted to know how you're doing it, what else, what help do you need from us. So you have to coordinate also. It's not just running. You have to coordinate a lot of logistical aspects. And it's not just me who's running. There are others also. So we have to take care of their health, medical cover, ambulance, all those kind of things. So while you are running, you have to do that also. and food part also. So I think it was a great, I would say, initiative which I took, and I am so lucky that I was able to get the approval from the armed forces. In fact, Navy was very supportive,
Okay.
especially in the first leg which we had from Diu to this place in
Bhuj,
Gujarat.
something. Okay.
Yeah, so due to there's a naval base there.
Jamnagar,
Jam,
Saurashtra. Jamnagar.
before that,
Diu then must be Jamnagar only. Jamnagar is Valsura.
before that, I think.
Mandvi.
Anyway,
Okay.
so that place, we had the entire Navy, supporting us for the accommodation. In fact, some of the places they provide us all the support which we required in terms of the vehicles. NCC boys and girls joined us
Right.
over there, and then of course later on from Rajasthan onwards, so we had the support from the army up till Kashmir, and we did that. So my aim was firstly, it's like we are very small, I would say element within the entire armed forces, but the kind of sacrifices which our soldiers have done
True.
already, those people who have sacrificed their lives,
True.
and when you see that along the border, when you go to those war memorials,
Yeah.
so we went to all those war memorials. Even Diu, we went to that.
Yes.
Where
You have
that,
the war memorial.
Yeah, there's a war memorial over there for that
The INS Kukri.
Kukri ka. So we went over there also. So it is just to kind of pay our respects to those who have already done so much for us, and
True.
also to remember them for their sacrifices, and also to kind of bring in some kind of, I would say, spirit within the armed forces. Even for the veterans,
Right.
that look, we are old, but we are not retired.
Absolutely.
We have re-attired ourselves. That's what
Absolutely.
one of our friends who used to say that we have re-attired ourselves. So I did it in 2024. Almost that year, my entire running was almost 5,500 kilometers full year,
Right.
which was more than my car has
Wow.
been driven that much.
How many of us will run more than the car has run?
For that
That is
entire
amazing.
year, yeah.
Very much for joining us today. I'm sure the viewers would love whatever you have, and I would request them to grasp every word that you've spoken. There's so much wisdom and so much experience in that. And as a first thing, let me present you my book. It's a book that I've written. It's called Shh, It's
Okay.
Not a Secret. It's on transformational leadership and life mastery, because I think it is not a secret. Right, since the Bhagavad Gita everything is there, so I
Yeah.
just try to put in my words.
So
So
thank you very much,
much.
Kirish, for given me this honor to come and share my experiences with your viewers. And it's a great platform, and I'm sure more people would come and more people watch your podcast and learn from our leadership. I would say experiences and become greater leader. I think there's a lot of dearth of leaders, and this country and especially the corporate world needs a lot of leaders to take us to the next level, maybe one of the the biggest economy in the world, and I think the world
Absolutely.
needs us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So guys, if this tribute to the Galwan heroes and to every soldier that is there is something that all of us must hear from Colonel Mann, and if this has hit some nerve in you, please do like, share and subscribe, so that we can bring you more such interesting episodes from great people like Colonel Mann, and there's so many of them in the armed forces that I would love to bring over here.